In this video for Positive Maths, we're going to look at the Junior Cert 1 Year Level 2014 sample paper. This is question 14 from paper 1. So part A, we're given a function. The f of x is equal to 3x minus 5. And the first part asks us to find the f of 7. To find the f of 7, we substitute in 7 for x. So now we're going to have 3 multiplied by 7 minus 5. That's going to give us 21 minus 5, which will give us 16. So the f of 7 is equal to 16. Part 2. We're asked to find the f of minus 1. Again, we just substitute minus 1 in for x. So we have 3 multiplied by minus 1 minus 5. So that's going to give us minus 3 minus 5, which will give us minus 8. So the f of minus 1 is equal to minus 8. Part B. We're asked to draw the graph of the function 2x squared minus 2x minus 5. In the domain, minus 2 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 3. So the first thing we want to notice is that we have a quadratic function. The next thing we're going to notice is the coefficient of x squared is positive. So that means we should expect our graph to look like this. So by knowing what shape the graph will take before you start, it will help you to notice if you make any small slips or small mistakes along the way. The first thing we're going to do is use a table to find our coordinates. So we have our x values. We're told we have to use minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to write down my function. So I have 2x squared minus 2x minus 5. So I'm going to substitute my x values into the function one at a time, and they will give me my y values. So for the first one, we're substituting in minus 2. So we have 2 minus 2 squared minus 2 by minus 2 minus 5, and this will give us our y value. I'm going to use the right side of the page just for rough work. So minus 2 squared is going to give me 4. 4 multiplied by 2 gives me 8. Minus 2 by minus 2 gives me plus 4. And then I have minus 5. So 8 plus 4 gives me 12. 12 minus 5 gives me 7. So my first point is going to be minus 2, 7. Now I'm going to fill in my minus 1. So minus 1 squared gives me 1. 1 by 2 gives me 2. Minus 2 by minus 1 gives me plus 2, and I have minus 5. So 4 minus 5 gives me minus 1. Next I'm filling in 0. So 0 minus 5 gives me minus 5. Next one I'm substituting in 1. So I'm going to get 2 minus 5. Just going to give me minus 5. Substitute in 2. So 2 squared gives me 4. 4 by 2 is 8, minus 2 by plus 2 gives me minus 4, and minus 5. So I get minus 1. And the last one I substitute in 3. 3 squared gives me 9, 9 by 2 gives me 18, minus 2 by 3 gives me minus 6. So 18 minus 6 gives me 12, 12 minus 5 gives me 7. Now I'm going to identify the coordinates for the points. So minus 2 and 7, minus 1, 0 minus 5, 1 minus 5, 2 minus 1, and 3 and 7. There are a few different methods for finding these points, so just use whatever you're comfortable with and you're used to. So now when we're drawing the graph, a few things we have to notice. We always use a pencil and a ruler, trying to be as accurate as we can. I suggest making the graph as big as you're comfortable with. It can make the following questions on the graph easier to answer. So the first thing we do is draw our x and y axis. So because I'm drawing this freehand, it's not going to be as accurate as if you were drawing it with graph paper and a pencil. An exam situation. But I am going to point out some things to remember. First thing is to remember to label the x and y axis. Now we're going to fill in our numbers. So on my x-axis I have -2, -1, 1, 2 and 3, so it's going up in steps of 1. And on the y-axis I'm taking steps of 2 because I'm just a little bit more limited with space. Now I'm going to plot the points. Now the next step is to notice that, like we said at the start, it does have this shape, so we know we're on the right track. And we want to get our pencil and draw a smooth graph. So again, when you're doing this, you'll be more accurate than mine is. Now let's look at part 2. Use the graph drawn in the first part, so the graph we've drawn below, to estimate the value of 2x squared minus 2x minus 5 when x is equal to 0.5. They also tell us to show your work on the graph. So we need to estimate the value of this function when x is equal to 0.5. So we're going to find x is equal to 0.5 first. That's when x is equal to a half. So we go to that point and then we go down until we touch the graph and we go over to the y-axis. So the value of the function when x is equal to 0.5 is approximately 5.2. Part 3. The value of x when the g of x is equal to 0. So this is when our y value is equal to 0. So our y value is equal to 0 here. So we're looking for the values of x. So we go across. So when the function is equal to 0, x is equal to minus 1.2 and x is equal to 2.2. For more information, visit PositiveMaths.ie, email us at info@PositiveMaths.ie, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching.